Perfector of Sentiment Foundation and German Corporation alongside with GIZ and Ghana International Trade Commission organized two-day sub-regional joint workshop for legal experts, regulation on cross-border trade and rule of law for Ghana, Togo, Benin, Ivory Coast, Nigeria, and Burkina Faso on a theme promoting small-scale across-border trade, rule of law, and use of technology in West Africa with the aim to overcome divisions that impede the flow of goods, services, people, capital, and ideas.
The objective of ETLS is to ease trade by abolishing of custom duties levied on import and export and the elimination of non-tariff barriers among member states for the establishment of a free trade area at the community level. Small-scale cross-border trade being a major feature of Africa's economic and social landscape contributes to the income of about 43% of Africa's entire population. Such trade support livelihood and create employment for disadvantaged and marginalized groups in society. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, traders, generally women, exchange small quantities of goods at a modest value due to a variety of constraints, including limited financing, low capacity, lack of machinery, insufficient marketing and distribution channels, amongst others. They may not necessarily registered as formal business owners, yet do not operate specific goals of circumventing existing.
According to Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs, Honorable Thomas Obomba stated that they are aiming to achieve the workable mechanism to achieve the free movement of persons throughout West Africa through the usage of advanced technology across West African borders with the goal of creating borderless countries.
The workable mechanism to achieve the free movement of persons throughout West Africa. This includes no entry visa for community citizens, the right of residence and establishment, and ECOWAS identity card, ECOWAS passport, as well as the brown card insurance scheme to facilitate vehicular movement across member states. ECOWAS passport and identity cards are a symbol of unity adopted to eliminate rigid border formalities and enhance modernization of border procedures with passport scanning machines and harmonize immigration formalities or forms designed to facilitate free and easier movement of persons across borders. The goal is to create a borderless West Africa. In effect, ECOWAS countries will only have a common external border to facilitate the internal movement of persons, goods, and services. Ladies and gentlemen, advanced technology has the potential to improve efficiency of custom processes and to ease the flow of goods across borders. Economies with the most efficient trading environment shares common features and allow trade to exchange information with customs and other control agencies electronically. The key to success is the ability of an economy to adapt its regulatory framework to the new information technology, regardless of income level, allowing electronic submission and processing of custom-related documents can be one of the most effective ways to reduce delays in the trading processes. The exchange of custom data and harmonization Modernization of custom procedures are important pillars of many regions. An electronic data interchange system can help facilitate the materialization of regional integration initiatives.
According to the Executive Secretary for GITC, Honorable Frank Ajeku, said that they are ready to collectively embark on the rules and regulation in order for everyone to be guided by the ECOWAS to facilitate the movement of people in the sub-region.
So anybody at all can move around and do what he wanted, kill you and stab you and do what, take your goods and run away. We are no longer in those days. We have laws and regulations now. So unless we observe those laws and regulations, of course, we'll be going back into those states when lawlessness prevailed and when there was no guarantee for anybody for the next step in their life. So we have the rules and regulations. We have ECOWAS there to guide us. We have the AFCFTA to guide us. Let us all commit to move on in those various precepts that have been given to us, because as we spoke along, everyone was mentioning customs, immigration, customs, immigration, customs, immigration. If you know customs and immigration are the problem, why don't we resolve those problems? So please, let us resolve that as we move on, we begin to let the laws work, but of course, we begin to let them work in a way and manner that will facilitate and enhance the movement of people and of goods in the sub-region.
Scroll down, so that's it right there. So this is the web address. If you haven't, just kindly. All right. So it's a nicely designed website. Essentially, this is the home page. When you scroll, you can see the country level pages. So with all the countries that are represented, that's where to find them. And then you can click on each of them. So basically take you to the specific country. And so for instance, this is Nigeria. Also at the top of each website, we have language translation. So we have currently English and French, so that you can easily basically access them. Also, we have a news section. So basically, whatever is happening in each member country will be highlighted so that you could basically stay up to date with what's going on. And then lastly, we have a contact form where we can basically essentially list all the traders in the various countries. Basically, just to enhance, trust, and then also basically enhance commerce. So that would be.
Also speaking at the event was the director for POS Foundation Ghana, Mr.Jonathan Osei Owusu, stated that there is need to improve on the facilitating trade in the borders airline in order for the small-scale use across the West Africa.
Within this sub-region, and then see how best we can push trade and along and bring about economic emancipation, which is the critical thing that we need in West Africa. And finally, what we seek to do is that we are looking forward to get a system where the communication between Togo border, Nigeria border, they are all the same. A tracking system where if the truck moves from Nigeria, those in the transit countries like Benin and Togo will see and track and know what the content is before it even gets to their borders. That is where we will be doing trade, because you heard that trucks that should fly on the road from, let me say, Nigeria to Burkina Faso in 3 days takes 3 weeks, and that contributes to the cost incurred in operation, and it is sent back to the consumer, which is you and myself, making trade difficult in our country. In using the routes during this exercise, we went through a lot of troubles, from the land to even air. I couldn't imagine that we had to even struggle to get air flight or airline from here to Burkina Faso. We needed to fly to Istanbul before connecting back to Burkina Faso. Why? Go to Europe and then come back to Africa. We need to improve on all these things so that we can have a lot of sub-regional flights that will be used in facilitating trade. At the borders, the airlines, all these are part of the trade that cross-border small-scale industries use. and that is why we are looking forward to getting it. Fortunate web portal today, we are going to put almost all the information on trade, protocols, everything online, so that people will be abreast with information before they get to the borders.
According to Nigeria Immigration Representative Mrs. Shindimi Adetong Adewuni, said that West Africa might not be able to have a borderless boundary, but rather to make it easier for everyone to go by the rules through the understanding of immigration management.
Indeed, a great privilege, and so I want to appreciate my acting CGIS, Mr. Idris Isajiri, for the opportunity given me to have been able to partake of what is being fostered around here today. And it's my hope that over time, we will all as West African countries, beyond the ECOWAS Treaty, understand that trade has started even before we came, and it evolves over time, and then technology is something that is sporadic all over the world now, and we're all key into it to understanding our placement to further foster the relationship of the West African countries. And I'm hoping and believing that in the nearest future we'll have countries where they understand who they are and be able to abide by the rules and regulations that binds us together, and being able to get even other countries to envy us for what we have within the West African countries. But I would tell you that that's going to be something that has to work over time. But be that as it may, I am looking forward to seeing a situation where synergy, because when you have synergy, you discover that the work becomes easier. And that's exactly what I believe the POS Foundation is looking at. Because whether you like it or not, you have different children from different mothers. Though we have one father, like I said earlier, we must be able to work in accordance to that family tie and embrace the rules that guides us. We can't really have it borderless, as it were, but I believe we can make it easier for ourselves if we go by the rules. Thank you. You know, Nigeria is a very open country to all, particularly the West African countries. It's easy for everybody to wake up from their homes and say, I'm going to Nigeria. All we're just asking for people is to understand migration management. They should understand that the borders are there manned by some people, and they should come before every immigration officer when they come into the Nigerian border areas. It makes easy everybody's life. We will be able to know who comes into our country. They will be able to understand the nature and the culture of the Nigerian country as a whole. And at the end of the day, your life, my life, every one of us is secured. Thank you. Currently, we all know that the border areas have been very, very much of restrictions here and there all over the world. But the Nigerian Immigration Service, where I belong, has done so much to make sure that people keep to the protocols. We give good attention to people with minimal time frame, so as not to have too many people clustered around unnecessarily at the same time, in order not to spread this pandemic that is ravaging the whole world at the moment.
Please, can we have participants to join us?